So I've had good luck with the flatbed so far. I pretty much like the design of it. There are a couple small issues that I've run into that I think I want to change around. One is that there is no inside support for the boxes here. So there's nothing holding up this side other than just the piece of angle iron that I have stretching all the way out. They're ever so slightly starting to bow inwards just from the weight of the tools inside. I could build a support down and through the wood into the brace underneath, but there's a couple other issues that I'm having that I want to address. And one is that I thought I would use this space underneath for straps and whatnot and sliding things in, but because of the way that this front leg is, I can't really get anything under it. And I actually now would prefer to have the boxes be in sort of an artificial bedside. So what I think I'm going to do, cut this apart again, and I'm going to move these boxes down so they're sitting right here on the bed rails and just bring the whole assembly down onto the bed rails. That's going to allow me to throw stuff in between that's shorter than the boxes, and it won't slide out the sides when I'm hitting the corners hard. It's sort of a small issue. The design is kind of cool, I guess. I'm just going to move them down and notch them into the actual bed so they become sort of the bed sides. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. First step is I got to get everything off this bed and pull everything out of the toolboxes so they're light enough that I can actually get them out of their cradles. They're pretty heavy, so they're solid steel. Okay, I got it all apart. You can kind of see how I built the layout here. They're just sort of sitting in there, holding themselves in place by the feet on them. And this structure back here holds them, keeps them from flopping around. They just pressure fit into place. But like I said, I think what I want to do is I want to completely eliminate this outer rail and probably this cross piece and drop this side down all the way onto the platform here. And then take this piece, I think, out as well. Just run the actual flatbed top as this outer edge. So I guess my next step is going to be to start cutting this thing apart. Got it off. That was a huge pain in the butt. This is kind of what the skeleton looks like. I gotta clean these edges where I pulled these off. I gotta cut off the rest of these stumps and get everything back to baseline. So I got the box on there. I pulled out the one piece of wood where it's gonna drop in. And the issue I'm running into is that the piece that secures the roller for the drawer is slightly over top of where I want this to run. I want it to sit right on the edge, basically like right here, right inside this edge, so that I can put a support here. But it looks like the way this is set up, I can actually cut out this outer edge a bit and not mess with the structural integrity of the roller. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out and see what happens. So I trimmed this out here. Okay, you got to kind of set in place how I'm gonna want it. Let's go a little higher at the back because there's going to be the cradle on this end, which is going to raise it up a few millimeters, so it should be pretty even. That's basically how it's going to look. So what I have to do next is chop up this frame, and I'm going to be using a bunch of it. So I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning that up and cutting that apart. Cut up pieces I think I'm going to be reusing. I'm not sure. I got to get it up in there and then we'll kind of see how it's starting to turn out here. All right, this is kind of what I'm thinking here. We'll have the inside rail to support the inside of the weight, and then the bed itself will be the outside rail. So now the actual bed is supporting the weight of the toolboxes. It will be locked in place. What I'll do is this piece of wood here, I'm thinking I'm gonna cut it out right there. So the foot drops in, which locks it in place this way. Sun's starting to go down here, so I think I'm gonna clean up and I'll get back at it tomorrow. All right, I've got what's left of the rack in place where I'm gonna put it. I painted the backside and everything and just left the areas I'm gonna weld there. I measured it out. It's perfectly aligned on both sides. Although I'm not sure my flatbed is completely straight, but at least this part's gonna be straight. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack the front end in and then put the boxes in place and test fit, see how everything looks. It's got just enough gap under here that I can take the pressure washer and clean all that out of there. So that's basically what I was envisioning. So I think I will go ahead and fully weld this front end into place, and we'll start working on this back side and see what I need to do here. Well, as with all projects, I ran into an issue that I didn't think about earlier because these extend almost to where the bend goes. This board will not fit. I was going to put it down and slide it in, but because the tailgate or because the flatbed gets narrower here, I don't have the room to drop it in place. So what I'm going to do is shorten these inside rails just enough to allow me to drop the board in place and slide it in underneath. Okay, so now that we got that taken care of, next step is going to be I need to trim this board to allow this foot piece that's going to keep this thing from sliding forward and backwards. Go ahead and trim this board and the next board so it'll drop into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this line here, a screwdriver. There. And as this drops down, it's going to go back just a little bit. So I'm going to take this screwdriver and angle it out just slightly and trace that line from that side, and the same thing from this side. Okay. Now we got to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so I've got those lines traced out. I don't know if they show up on camera, but I'm going to go ahead and cut those out. Okay, so we got them into those boards. Now I have to do the same thing for the next board. Just a very thin sliver needs to be cut out of the next board. Okay, so I got them cut. Test fit in place. Obviously that needs to be bolted down, but that'll tighten in. So since they're set inside the bed now, that'll keep them from moving forward and backwards. Okay, got everything. Got the flatbed put that together. This is how they're gonna fit. These little slots here. All right, so I got them in place, and it's exactly what I want. I got a space between these. I can put stuff in without worrying about sliding to the side. They open perfect. And the bed now supports the drawer too, which helps with the weight of the tools. All right, well, I missed some stuff. I started working. I thought my camera was running, and it wasn't. So anyway, this is what I came up with. Kind of kept it pretty simple, keep it nice and light. So I made a new outwards piece out of the old pieces that I cut on the bottom. Brought that straight out, angle cut it, and did a piece of flat strap that was left from before right here. I matched the angle of the bottom part here just to sort of give it an aesthetically pleasing appearance. And because this top part is angle iron, ignore my giant fat tack there. Because this top part is angle iron, it holds the box down. So now the box will not, you can't get it out of there without cutting it out. So you're gonna have to cut this out to get that box out of there. Now, if I need to remove the box, I can take these boards out here, slide it forward, and pop it out if I need to. I'm gonna go ahead and try to reproduce that on the other side and put a coat of paint on. I'm not gonna paint the boxes. I just sanded them, smoothed them down a little bit. I actually like the kind of patinaed look of the box. I'm gonna go ahead and put some paint on this after I finish the other side. And that'll be, I think we'll be pretty much done. All right, so this is how I'm building these. I just took the old piece that I did and angle cut the ends off of it. This is actually 3 separate pieces. They just, whatever. I didn't have enough straps, so I welded them all together, made it one continuous piece. And then this is the angle iron left over from the outside. And I just took a screwdriver and scribed the line continuing up through here. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and cut that off and get everything lined up. All right, got everything cleaned up. Put a light coat of paint on the flatbed, out on the boxes. This is how it turned out. I think it looks simple and clean. Not a huge difference from the old setup. But like I said, it was more of a functionality thing. And I also shed about 30 pounds of metal. That makes a big difference. Also, now this top bar kind of follows the line of the truck a little bit better than it did before. I may still build some sort of headache rack type of thing, but so far I haven't really needed one. I broke my rear window, but I broke it from the inside, so headache rack wouldn't have helped. Yeah, looks okay. Now the boxes will serve as essentially kind of as bedsides, and I can still have the space out here to use the flatbed for when I'm working as a work surface. Eventually, once this truck retires and it's not work and play, I may just get rid of the toolboxes completely. But for now, I think it looks okay. I'm happy with it. It'll be good for work. And now, like I said, the bed supports the boxes. So pull them out all the way. I mean, you could do that before, but they're nice and sturdy. They're not going anywhere. They're locked in place. You can't move them at all. So the only way of getting these suckers out is to pull the baseboards apart or cut the bed open. So they're very secure. Anyway. All right, got some other mods and stuff planned for this truck. Got a few things to do. Man, I just can't find the time, and this weather is garbage, so it's hard to motivate to go work when it's raining or freezing. But you know, that's how life goes. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.